Welcome back everyone to the Athlete Podcast. Today we're joined by England athletic sprinter Nicholas Walsh. How are you, Nicholas?
I'm good, not too bad. Enjoying a bit of time off now since it's the winter off season now. So. Yeah.
Oh really? Okay,
Quite
so
happy.
the season sort of ends towards September. I assume
Yeah.
it runs from maybe May, June, all the way through September, like the school summer holidays.
Yeah, well, technically, outdoor season starts in April and
Okay.
will finish around mid-September-ish.
An indoor season?
Indoor season officially starts in December, but most athletes don't do anything till January
Okay.
and finishes in March.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we're going to be talking about sprinting today, if that wasn't enough of an indicator. So what we'll do is we'll start with how you sort of got into sprinting. Now, I know you started at the age of 10.
Yep.
Your dad took
Yes, I
you to a local athletics club. I've always been interested when sprinters and things like that come into the office. What does starting a sport like athletics at the age of 10 look like? When you go to the athletics club, what are you doing?
Well, when you start at 10, it's not too complicated really. You're just really there to enjoy yourself. A couple of runs down the track at the time really. Go home and have some ice cream. That's at age 10. That's what it was.
Fun,
it's a bit of fun. As you get older, that's when it has to change.
Okay, and there's a few like sort of inter-club competitions and things like that you're all doing.
You'll. There's always a couple of inter-club meets you can do when you're young, especially at that age. I think inter-clubs are mainly for, to be honest, that age group. There's quite a few inter-clubs. Yeah.
Okay, and so when we sort of outlined your journey so far earlier, you started at the age of 10, but then you didn't begin taking it seriously until the age of 17.
Yeah.
Which, in the UK at least, is around when A levels. You might be in college.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of exams going on. How do you sort of balance your school life, your social life, and then your athletics life as well?
Yeah. Well, that was quite hard for me as well at the time. I think it's hard for most people. Training 4 or 5 times a week and having to go to school and things like that. But I think what made it easier for me was that I saw my friends at school. I'd spend time there, and I did have most of my friends are either at school or at the track where I train.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I had to go way out of my way to go and see anyone really. So that made it a lot easier. Had that not been the case, I think it would have been quite tricky. Yeah.
I think for me probably it would be that at age 17. I mean, I had no money at age 17, so I wouldn't really know how to sort of feed myself. Were you just sort of living off the meals that were served at home, or?
Yeah, pretty much that's what it is. I mean, I was no different. I had no money at age 17 either.
Yeah.
But one thing I did get was, in terms of meals and things like that, my diet's always been good. I always get quite good food at home. School meals were quite decent as well, so I didn't have to look too far to get those things.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously it's different for everyone, but for me at least, I was always interested in staying fit and whatnot in school.
Yeah.
But I was, with people, some of my classmates, they were well into the gym. They were eating God knows just whole chickens every single meal.
We all had
like
those
that.
friends, yeah.
But for me, that wasn't really possible because I couldn't afford to do that.
Yeah.
So, would it be right in saying that you can build strength, you can get more physically fit, just sort of eating like a regular person, not focusing on getting your protein in, eating carbohydrates before training, things like that?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, you don't have to, in terms of eating whole chickens and things like that. Your diet doesn't have to be complicated.
Yeah.
You can keep it quite basic and get quite to a certain level.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you want to improve beyond that level, then you need to say, okay, something needs to change.
Okay.
But especially when you're young and things like that, you don't need to do too much.
Yeah. So what have you found is the best maybe bare bones meal? That is, it's encompassing.
Yeah.
Should we say?
Well, the standard meal that satisfies my stomach anyway, I'd say, is rice and chicken, some veg on the side.
Okay.
But I
classic.
Classic. I tend to eat have quite a lot of rice in my diet as well.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, quite a lot. I have tried to cut down a bit on that.
Yeah.
But I mean, with the amount of running and stuff I do, like it doesn't make that much of a difference in the end.
Yeah. Well, I assume that
So yeah,
when you're sort of trying to fuel yourself for training, it's important that you get
carbs
those fast release energy sort of foods into you,
in.
not sugars and things like that that'll stick to you, but you know, pastas, your rice, maybe like potatoes, sweet potatoes, things like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll move on from that. We'll come back to it though, because I have a few more questions around food to ask.
Okay.
So obviously when you're 17, you were looking at becoming more serious. Did you go to, you've competed in box, but did you go to university?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay, so how did you take in athletics more seriously? Did that affect your choice of university?
Yeah, it did. I went to apply mostly for universities that, you know, had a kind of good setup around sport as well.
Yeah.
Although I did think that, you know, I could potentially still train and do whatnot at another university that isn't necessarily focused on that.
Yeah.
But I did prioritize like sports universities, or at least ones near that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
That was the task. Yeah.
I mean, it's quite a big decision to be making, because obviously that's gonna. I mean, especially at age 17, you think the next 3 years of your life.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, when you're 17, 20 is a lifetime away at least.
Yeah.
So, was it a decision that was taken lightly? Did you consult your parents or?
It wasn't taken lightly. Definitely. I did speak to my parents about it. Yeah, I mean, because obviously I did say that I wanted to take athletics seriously, and if you're going to take something seriously, that is a decision you would make.
Exactly.
Plus, you know, as well, these universities that I did choose in the end to look at, they did have quite good degrees for what I wanted to do anyway. Yeah, so I did end up with a win-win situation.
Okay.
So,
and so what degree did you earn then?
Biology.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
very, very complicated then.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you sort of see your education helping you in your sporting?
To a certain extent, yeah. I think had I done something like, say, sports science, it might have helped a bit more.
Yeah.
But I was always open to having my education and sports slightly separate. So I ended up with biology, which I was quite happy with in the end.
Okay. Would biology help you to get a career in the sporting world, maybe even the athletics industry, or is it not as?
No, it's not as linked.
Yeah. Okay.
As say a sports science or things like that. But you do get a basic foundation of a lot of things that you would cover in sports science as well.
Yeah.
So it's not worlds apart, but it
Okay, yeah. So I mean, it's a good setup going to uni and training, because obviously you've got all the facilities on your doorstep. Uni, as opposed to college sixth form, where you have to be there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't go to uni.
Yeah.
If you're in uni, go to your lectures.
Yeah.
But it's a lot freer, and you have a lot more time.
Yeah.
To focus on things. And so, did you find that gaining strength and ability was a lot easier at that stage in your life? Obviously, negating the fact that you're younger and you've got more energy and things like that. Did you find that having all of that time separate was great for your building of strength?
I would say so. I would say for improving it did play quite a good part in just being able to focus on that. And I think as I got into my third year, that changed a bit, because I did have to work as well.
Yeah.
So then my schedule was very packed. Yeah. So.
Oh God. Yeah.
But yeah, I would say so. Definitely it played a part.
Okay, and so staying on the university topic, then you've been competing in box. You have competed. You're a champ. Is it a champion, or you? I know you're a bronze medalist in the 100 meters. Were you the 60 meter champion, or
at box?
Yeah.
No, I was a bronze medal in the 60 meter.
Okay.
Bronze
So
medalist in the 60 meters. Yeah.
box is the national sort of university championships everywhere.
Sport, yeah.
Maybe not every university enters, but a lot of universities
most of
enter.
them, yeah.
What's the competition like at a box competition then?
Well, normally it's it's younger students who are doing like undergrads, or maybe you'll get the odd master's degree student doing it, but mostly it's undergrads. And it's more or less the people that you'll face at nationals and places like that later on in the season, because box is normally quite early in the season.
Yeah.
Well, box outdoors is anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'll see familiar faces there.
Okay.
Normally quite fast people. Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of books, is it above the nationals, or would you say that they're sort of maybe on par even?
In terms of
maybe
how fast people are, or just competition?
Yeah.
No, you tend to see more fast people turn up for like nationals. Like England
got
nationals,
the older
or
crowd
British.
as well.
Yeah, you will.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how is the British University Championships? How is that? Let's say a springboard into getting onto the nationals, maybe even Europeans, and then obviously the ultimate goal is world for you.
Yeah.
Is it a great springboard to have and to be able to compete in?
I would say so. It definitely is, because I mean, it's a national title if you win.
Yeah.
So that will do a lot for your confidence, and you're all competing against guys that you will compete against later on in the season. So if you can win against them now, there's no reason why you can't win against them in 2 months' time, 3 months' time. Yeah. So it will do a lot for your confidence and your progress.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
And so moving past university now, you I assume started full time working.
More or less full time, yeah.
Okay.
More or less, yeah. Part time, but practically full time. Yeah.
And then you train alongside that.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people can barely find time for a hobby nowadays.
Yeah.
Where somehow, as when we were talking earlier, you found time to work. I mean, you say almost full time, but full
time, yeah.
30, 35 hours, 40 hours. That's a lot of time to commit in any 1 week, really.
Yeah.
To anything. So you've got your full time hours, your training, and then spending time with friends, family.
Yeah.
Just general recovery too.
Yeah.
Your schedule must look.
Yeah, it's quite packed. But one of the things I've always said is that I'm quite blessed with a good support system.
Yeah.
Even though I may not have, say, a sponsor or at this time, or funding from wherever, in those years I always had a good support system and family and friends around me, and they understood that when I'm with you guys, I can't be doing too much running around, going to parties and things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And luckily, my friends are more or less quite, they're quite calm. They're quite understanding. So yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it helps. And you obviously can't devote too much time to anything else.
Yeah.
So, in a typical week now, with your current timeline schedule.
Yeah.
What days are you doing what on? How does everything fit into your schedule then?
Okay. Well, typical week. Monday, work.
Yeah.
Finish work, go to the track, train. I'll be home at, say, probably 7:30.
Okay.
Yeah. Tuesday, same again, except I'm in the gym in the evening. Probably be home at 7:30 or 8.
Yeah. Wednesday,
I like to take off if I can. I won't work, and I'll have a track session in the afternoon.
Okay.
That track session tends to be longer.
Yeah.
So if I can finish and get home earlier than 7, I will, but a lot of the time it won't happen. Thursday's the same as Tuesday, and Friday is maneuverable. It might just be a core session or something. Saturday morning is a big track session.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what the week looks like. I'll have Sunday off for sure. Some Fridays I might have off.
I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's quite a lot. Quite a lot. But the thing about the human body is routine helps.
Yeah,
so once you've been doing it for so long, it's not completely alien to have that kind of schedule. And for me, like, I've always had a schedule like this, really.
Yeah.
From back in school when it was A levels, or at uni when I had my degree and I was working as well. So now it's I'm quite conditioned to it. So
Yeah, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. But I guess sort of when you look at it from an athletics perspective, a sprinting perspective, you'd think that the common denominator is obviously working full time alongside training, and that is a problem that countless athletes have.
A lot of us have.
It's unbelievable. So, of course, you'll be conducting our inspirational workshops in schools.
Yeah.
And of course, the money from the workshops that you do that's raised by the children very kindly will go to your training, competition, any sort of recovery costs. Maybe if you might want to spend your money warm weather training, you might need some better tools for your recovery. It is sort of the scope of what you're doing with us to sort of exit that and focus everything in on your sport.
I mean, it's always been a desire of mine to say, if I can get to the point where I can just train and not have to do all these other things, then I'll be in a good position to really achieve what I want to achieve. Even if it's just for 2 years, that amount of time is plenty to make that progress and achieve those things. So it definitely is. It definitely is.
Well, obviously with that sort of financial platform that you get, obviously being an athlete mentor, sports champions is very flexible. You can pick up, even, I mean, if need be, even drop events time that you take to do the inspirational workshops. Of course, when you're doing it, what would be the message that you'd be trying to send out to the children?
I think probably the biggest takeaway from my experience as an athlete and my path that I've been on is perseverance. It's perseverance, because I'm at this point now, I'm 27 now, where I've got talent, clearly, or else I wouldn't get to this point. But for whatever reason, the experiences I had and things I went through, it didn't happen earlier on in my career. Whereas traditionally, it would happen earlier on in so a lot of guys get to the point where I am when they're like 21, 22. But I had to persevere a bit longer to get here. So I think perseverance would be my biggest message.
And just the resilience of it. I mean, it can affect too many aspects of an athlete's life. The perseverance, that it's the discipline that you guys have is, to be honest, it's alien to someone like me who isn't sort of within that world. It is the ability to discipline yourself, keep yourself on track with your eating, your training, and the routine that you have, and rarely ever break it. Really, you only get the chance like Christmas and New Year's, right? It's unbelievable. And so, how do you keep your mind in check throughout all of this? How do you keep your mind to stay focused?
It's easier to stay focused when this is something that you really want. So I think the first step is remembering that this is something that you really wanted for a long time. That's the most important thing. Another important thing is having a good support system around you. Definitely, because everyone has their moments when they fall off track and things like that, and sometimes everyone needs to be reminded. Having a good support system, good friends, good family that understand and are supportive of what you do. It's always great.
I mean, it's more than important, really, isn't it? It's like I said. I mean, keeping the discipline on track. Would you say that it's difficult to sometimes see that light, that you see that and remember that you wanted this career, this path, you wanted to be competing in this competition for so long? Is it easy to lose track of that?
When I was younger, it was. As I've gotten older and more mature, I think it's much less likely for me to get to that point.
Yeah.
But when I was younger, I would say definitely. When you're young, you might have one or two bad races, and you throw your toys out the pram.
Oh,
and all
yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yeah. But
Okay.
yeah, as you get older and you mature and things like that, you realize it's no one bad race isn't the end.
Yeah.
A lot of things. So say for example, I had quite a good year last year. This year it's been good, but I haven't hit the targets that I'd set myself.
Yeah.
And it just takes the maturity to realize that you're still in a good position. Like I'm injury free and things like that. I'm still in a good position, so let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
No, I do
Definitely.
understand that. Is there sort of, has there ever been a point where you've had to keep your mindfulness in check, and you've realised that maybe something that maybe certain thought paths and things like that, they're just not healthy for the bigger picture, really?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, no matter what anyone tells you, everyone has their moments.
Yeah.
Even if they don't come out and say, or they don't say to their close family or friends or whatever, everyone has their moments when it can be quite bad for them. But yeah, you just, like I said, you just need to remind yourself, this is something that you've wanted for a long time, and once you've really dedicated so much time to it and so much effort, it gets to the point where you owe yourself to see it through.
Exactly.
So yeah, especially when you get to your late 20s and you've actually made progress now as well. You weren't sure if you've made that progress. You'd make that progress when you were younger, but you have now. Yeah, you do a disservice to yourself. So yeah.
Well, I said I was going to come back around to this, but on the topic of discipline, and staying focused, sometimes, as a lot of athletes will tell you, it's good to treat yourself, and to keep it regular but moderated, to ensure that you don't go crazy. First of all, some people are happy eating, lettuce and carrots all the time. Yeah. And that's, we can put them over there.
Yeah.
They're not normal people, they're robots.
Yeah, they are.
So, what is your favourite cheat meal, and when do you reward yourself?
Yeah. Right. Well, in terms of cheat meals, it depends on the time of year.
Yeah.
If it's in winter training, maybe once or twice a month, because winter training is quite grueling. Yeah. Especially for me.
Yeah.
In the actual season, not very often. When I'm actually competing, not very often.
No.
But a standard cheat meal for me would be something sweet at the end of a meal. I do love my apple crumble.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's a good shout. That is a good shout.
Apple crumble with custard and stuff like that. Yeah. But obviously that's not something that you want to be having much in the season and things like that. So
very, very sugary.
Yeah.
Very sugary.
Yeah.
But so delicious.
So good.
Oh God.
So good.
So
apart from that, that's the thing about me. Like, I grew up getting quite a good diet in general.
Yeah.
Like, we'd have Chinese takeaway on a Friday night every now and then, but like for the most part of the week, like our meals were pretty solid. Like pretty much what I eat now is just as an athlete is what I grew up on as well. So it's never been a problem for me to say, okay, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. Like I've just never dabbled in it that much anyway. So for that, I do count myself quite fortunate, because I do have a sweet tooth. Yeah, good thing that I just stayed away from that when I was younger.
Some people that aren't maybe used to more healthier not alternatives, but healthier meals overall, meals that are well rounded. Sort of with a plate of food that's got everything you need on it.
Yeah.
What would be the best first step for someone to take to begin eating healthier? We had Naomi Metzger.
Yeah.
She's I believe she's not long jump, triple jump. She's a triple jumper, and she's been in here twice now, and both times she's visited the office, she's been going on about how she loves to make sweet and sour chicken, because
Okay.
she absolutely died for
Yeah.
any sort of Chinese takeaway sweet and sour chicken.
Mm.
But she always makes it with her own recipe.
Okay.
Healthier version, of course.
Yeah.
You know, not as much salt,
Yeah.
not as much mystery, whatever they put into it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tasty. So it's,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, anything that's super tasty like that is a mystery.
Yeah.
But she makes things like KFC, sweet and sour chicken, all of that for herself.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's maybe a good starting point to begin eating healthier?
Yeah. I think the rule of thumb is home cooked meals in general is a quite a good first step
Yeah.
to just eating healthier in general. Yeah. Apart from that, I think that's quite a good first step.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite a good first step.
Transforming all the foods that you like into a
Into something that you make yourself, and
yeah.
you know what's there, and
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
you know
quite
what,
good.
You know what's in it. I mean, if you
Yeah.
if you decide to batter the chicken yourself, you know what's gone into it. You know that. I mean, you know that you've got a chicken breast there.
Yeah.
You know what vegetables you're popping on, things like that.
Yeah.
It is a good first step.
Yeah. It's
So
quite good.
staying sort of on that same line of people that may be newbies, they're not as within the world of fitness and things like that. What would you say to maybe anybody, child, teenager, adult,
Yeah.
that is looking into getting into athletics? What would you say the starting point is? And have you got maybe a few words of wisdom for them?
Yeah. Starting point, I would say, is get yourself down to a track first.
Yeah.
First thing you do, get yourself down to the track. And just focus on, enjoying the first session, how you feel doing it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it being your first session, you won't get anything hellish, anything too much, but
Nothing like Usain Bolt.
yeah, nothing like one of his workouts. But yeah, get yourself down to the track and really focus on enjoying it. That's the first step. There's no point in you doing it for 2 years or anything like that if you don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
Then after that, I would say it depends. Like how seriously you want to take it. If you think you want to take it seriously,
Yeah.
discuss it with your family and your close friends. I would say, because there will come a time when you need their support.
Okay.
There will become a time, when you need their support. If it's just to pick you up sometimes, or you need help with something else. It does a world of good to have that support system around you.
Yeah. I bet.
Those are the 2 key points I would say.
Okay. That's a very somber note to end it on.
Yeah.
Make sure that people hear that last so they remember it.
Yeah, definitely.
So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you everybody for watching. This has been the Athlete Podcast. Hope to see you again next time.
Cheers.